Okay, hi and welcome. This is Project Surge, rapid 12-week delivery of project design, solution architecture, and business case. My name is Michael Castleman. I'll be taking you through and in this stuff. So let me just bring up the agenda. Today, we're going to be looking at why projects stall and management's unhappy with planning, an overview of Project Surge. What we've come up with is a way to build business cases and architecture and UX all in 3 streams for one solution. Operationalizing Project Surge with frameworks and playbooks, case studies of success in project planning, and better ways of working, and really how to kick off from where you're at to get that to start. A little bit about me. I have worked at a lot of large government organizations as well as large enterprise, banking, insurance, FMCG, Woolworths. News Corp started in advertising and then as an IBM consultant, and now work primarily for government for the last 10 years, where I've developed this Project Surge approach. We do constantly do research. This is my latest study into project operations. We reached out and had feedback from a range of thought leaders, which is always good to feed our next bit of information. Some of what we learned was how do you start a project? We're instructed to do a project, and we start having endless meetings with a small team trying to establish outcomes with the business analyst collecting requirements outside and transport. And definitely what we've seen a lot of in terms of projects being in a holding pattern to on quite a big, sizable problem. BAU in operation, having trouble getting business time, and this to be quite an established problem. Often projects seem to take months to get approval and approach. Once we start, there are a lot of changes during development. And we see this especially from solution architecture. So where security is an issue in government, where policy is an issue in legal framework, putting those guardrails in place early really helps us look at what we can do different. We do have, here's some overall feedback. We have a lot of compliance issues, no definition of done. We have multiple online groups with competing requirements. We spend forever in paralysis by analysis. This is some of the feedback we got, which certainly echoes why we develop Project Surge. A clear vision, getting alignment across complex stakeholders. This started for us when we saw in customer service, and probably earlier than that, but especially there, complex policies in a legal set and in a government setting, siloed departments, BAU different to technology, different to others, and we felt there was a better way to handle that. And so we looked at misaligned KPIs being a big driver, not taking the time to set what is good performance indicators. We found a lot of departments having issues actually talking to users, especially from a technology point of view, understanding what the actual users are, because normally business owns that relationship. And we did find change management to be a problem, where a lot of times at government we're good at building programs, even grant programs we've been involved with, where people are unaware they can get money for things that government is trying to give them money for. And we found stakeholder alignment to be a big issue, especially in the new world where we aren't all working in the same offices. You can see I'm working from home. We do see a lot of stakeholder alignment issues, and so we really came up with a program to allow that to come together. That really gave the birth of Project Surge, which is it's a methodology, a mind shift that empowers teams to break barriers, innovate, and achieve remarkable results whilst keeping complex stakeholders on the journey. We're really about creating a user-centric tribe, recognize the importance of user-centric approach, which came out of Department of Customer Service work, working, framing problem correctly became a real focus for us, so that everyone was aligned through workshop work, creating clear business objectives through focusing on KPIs and being data led, and then running that parallel work stream to bring architecture along the way. And that's what happened for us with a piece of work where they were stalled trying to get open data to work. And to me, open data is a future of government where we publicize data, and this was for CIRA, state regulator. They were used to PDFs. We moved to publish the PDFs as a live site, and it was complex getting multiple departments, frontline people talking to people, the director responsible for that data and sign off, and how do they sign off data to the data owners to be comfortable about that data governance as it went out. So the need for speed for us on this one, it had stalled for a year to get this live, and we focused on a 3-month surge to accelerate time to market and get innovation into the government setting, which is often thought of as not innovative, but in my experience, government is one of the better innovators when you consider the restrictions in place. Improved efficiency and getting that increased stakeholder alignment. So we recognise the stalemate that they were stuck in, and this is what we do often in a lot of our projects now at transport or agriculture or a range of other departments, NDIS for instance, and we find, how do we catalyse change? How do we go from stalled to surging? How do we get that surge to result? And we've got a few fundamental things we do to get that acceleration happening. Creating the 3 streams, becoming user focused and getting out doing research, getting solution design as a regimented approach where you do outreach to proper enterprise architects, understand the governance and start to build that with a user-centered approach, and really getting a business case that is driven around user and data so that the numbers make sense for why financially you would do it, and getting a value-driven approach to budgeting. Those 3 streams really do help deliver what's needed for understanding, and we found workshops to be a really good way to bring people together, take them all on the journey. So if you send a BA out to business and ask what they want, it's very hard for them to answer and define all of that. We found you have to take the business owners, especially BAU people, on the journey, take a step back, have a look at the ecosystem, the problem, understand the journey of the people we're serving, understand the constraints from a legal position, and then bring that together to define what are the jobs we're trying to do, how would they do it, where would they do that, and then start to design the solution that would support that. With the guardrails that come from an enterprise governance on that. We try and maximize impact with those 3 parallel work streams. User research, so hearing and recording the users and then playing them back, so making sure you have a legal framework, which we've worked and delivered in many scenarios, as well as solution architecture, developing a principle-based approach to architecture where you reach out to governing bodies and external departments as well as internal, agree on principles, understand their requirements, take that through the understanding of what the user needs, from a security perspective, from a legal perspective, from just a basic experience perspective, and then define that experience based on the principles you've agreed initially, and then take that back as a roadshow around to who needs to get approval and ensure you get that approval for the solution architecture. And then from a business case, we really do look at that value matrix. So how can we define success in numbers? What's the data that would need to be captured if it's not captured? And really looking at data from what's available as as hard numbers, but also what are the soft numbers when we're measuring things like user experience? How might we find that the numbers on the user experience? We then look at creating a one-pager, and to us this is fundamental in the first couple of weeks. So let's get everyone to agree on the key objectives, the methodology we're going to get there, and the deliverable, and really sum up the business problem so everyone understands what we're trying to achieve. We're working on something at Transport which I think there were 120 people, and there was not a key understanding of what the actual problem was everyone was solving. They were down in the details, and that can be a big problem. And so we find this is a really nice one step so that everyone agrees on that one pager, and we're all agreed on mission, and really writing that from a user and data perspective. Then starting to lock in those calendars over a 3-month rally, some champions. We're really key on the champion methodology, where, it's 3 to 4 key people that come from legal, from business units that take responsibility for unblocking the 3 streams of work, and really commit that time to the project for 3 months to get everything that's needed. That's getting legal permissions to see users. That's getting legal permission to access data, to make data decisions, and also getting that prior research to make sure we're not doing the same questions to the same people. And then set out that communication plan, workshop schedule, get your documents that you want to end up with at the end. If you're at a state level, that first pass, second pass framework, and then also at a state level, just looking at that value approach that most state governments look at. We're looking then to understand that user research, and I put this first because understanding, our users of the system and what their journey is, and that can often be complex, where you have people supporting users, service design, and to me this is fundamentally understanding the journey of both, and service designing it as layers. So what is the experience for the customer, and then how are those customers serviced at a frontline, and then what are those touch points deeper into the back-end systems that are current, and then looking at a future state, where do we want to be? So mapping that out. And for us, video is really important, and capturing the voice of the user, or in audio, depending on your legal framework, and making sure you are telling those stories. So we move from that stream at the same time launching the solution architecture and having that principles-led approach. So what is the principle in the security level? How does that work? And doing a roadshow to get that. But then fundamental to that is having a solution architect embedded inside the workshops, understanding the user experience and using that information from the user experience stream to drive change at security levels, at policy levels, at legal framework levels, and really looking at delivering security that makes sense. One government-to-government organization we had was looking at you had to go into the office to use the system, and that was really cramping and affecting in this modern world what was possible. And so, using videos and understanding the experience made unblocking security and legal a lot easier. Once we find that really important. From the business case development, it's really about what value are we providing for this, and then how can we measure that value? So what are the numbers, and really splitting out easy to measure numbers. So how quick do you get to a helpline? What's the answer rate in minutes, versus also looking at the soft number. So how might we start to measure, even sample wise, what is the actual feeling of that? So is it, we did a study at Woolworths, and we found some of the measuring the success of a product versus a whole range of metrics, and we did find there that it was the soft numbers where I think we were interviewing like 15 people and then finding out if they liked the product on a scale of 1 to 10 and why, and analyzing that text was 10 times more effective than the pilot data of how many sales a pilot made. So trying to think, how can we get those key metrics? How can we measure them and feed them into the team? As a benchmark for a starting point, so it's defined in the business case, but also ongoing from there. And then over that 12-week period, what we're looking at is in getting in the final stretch is really the crucial bit. So often we set it up properly, you get your documents, you start to do that research, and you will hit at week 8 a little bit of a bump, and that's where we find another round of workshops to close this out can really help, where you're going through the documents that you're delivering, you're saying what's been found. The champions are bringing their people that are troublesome from different areas that need help, and getting that output of a final decision of UI screens, what they look like, what is the problem we're solving defined, what are the steps to get off legacy to the new solution, recognizing a plan for that, and sort of mapping that out and making sure you've got a best guess at that. And for us, this momentum really helps when you start to look at setting up that this is iterative, that we are putting in a plan that is our best guess right now to get budget to start, and that it will be built iteratively, and there will be bumps and not everything is right, but this is what we think is right now, and we know that it can change moving forward. And I think that reassures a lot of business units that are worried about the implications. The outcome project Surge is those solid documents and roadshow and delivering that impact. And what we've seen time and time again is this culture change where people become user focused. They become less political, less siloed by the workshops, and are data led. And that bringing together, we've found is incredible. For making that next step. That maturity is full on. We did measure in that survey we did the maturity requirements and how that might work. We did find you got to see that this is a maturity level, and government is often a little bit on the left. But over that period, the start, getting the plan on the page, getting the alignment, those first workshops, you're going to see something, quite fast. This is a book I've written that we can include in any engagement, and it gives those sort of out of the box templates, playbooks, and blueprints to really get you started. So you can grab workshop templates, that we have set ready to go. You've got emails and all sorts of stuff, so it's a lot easier to just get going. So do put out, we've worked with a lot of companies and we're looking to find new clients, so let us know how that can work for you. Really keen for you to schedule a meeting. If you want to add me in WhatsApp, I'll just put my number there, and I'll send that through. So just reach out, and there's my other details. All right, and thank you very much. If there's any questions, we'll take that later. I look forward to hearing from you, and thank you for coming in today.